The UK government is looking at Plan B. It has not taken form just yet. This unexpected decision to leave the European Union is now squarely in the laps of those who said, let's go, let's leave. Kate Hoey is a member of the UK Parliament, and she, of course, was the co-chair of Labour Leave, one of the biggest proponents of the Leave campaign. Let's bring her in. She's with us in a Fox Business exclusive. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. What is Plan B? Can you let us know here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange and to all our viewers how this is going to proceed as best you can figure it out?
Well, the Leave campaign was a very clear campaign to get democratic control back of our own country. We were very keen to have trading relationships with the rest of the EU and indeed with the rest of the world. What we didn't want was the continued move towards taking power away from our own democratic parliament to Brussels. And of course, the Leave campaign isn't government. So the government has known for some time that there's a very good chance of a Leave vote. We warned that on the ground we were hearing that there were going to be massive votes to come out, and it's up, of course, to them to have the plans. And of course, now that we have voted to leave, both the Prime Minister and our Chancellor have come out with very different attitudes than they had before the vote, when they were warning of all sorts of dire predictions. And now, of course, it's very keen to settle the markets. I mean, obviously the markets don't like change, and we've seen that in the way they've reacted. But, you know, that will change, and it will go back to being a situation where the fifth strongest economy in the world, we are not going to be in a long-term situation where it's going to affect our economy in a detrimental way. There will be some short-term things that will happen that we can't really affect, because the market is the market. But as long as our Treasury and our Bank of England and all of our government machinery is working towards making sure that the rest of the world knows that we are going to do this in a very sensible way, we're going to work to negotiate trade deals, and our country's got a really bright, hopeful future.
Well, the future also is still, though, bright, but you may say that it looks very cloudy to us, at least a political fog over who might be the next Prime Minister. Who will Labour back? Jeremy Corbyn is actually being really hammered for having supported the Stay campaign, and he's the head of your party.
There's not likely to be a, well, he didn't actually, but there's not likely to be a general election. Officially, there doesn't need to be another general election for 4 years, because we have a fixed term parliament. So there's a lot of time for the Labour Party, my party, to get itself sorted out. I mean, I think they took the wrong decision to be backing Remain when it was very clear that the average supporter in the country was very EU sceptic. And of course, you know, I think it's important that the American public really understand what this is about. It's not about markets and about business. It's actually about a democratic country being able to control its own borders like the United States does, being able to control its own trade deals like the United States does, being able to control its own courts. I mean, you would not allow Mexico to overrule your courts. We were in a situation with the European Union where it wasn't just a trading arrangement, which is what people voted for way back in 1975, but had evolved into a trading arrangement with a political superstructure.
Well, let me just jump in here.
And then interfering with our democracy. So I think the American public, whilst I'm sure many people are, you know, concerned about what's happening, need to know that we are only doing what the rest of the world does democratically outside the European Union. And for somebody who mentioned earlier that, you know, citizens, EU citizens living in this country were worried, it's very, very clear nothing is retrospective, and that they will never be asked to leave, anyone who is here legally at this moment. Similarly, we have no reason to believe that the Spanish will want to send back British holidaymakers or British people who've bought homes in the Costa del Sol, because we bring a lot of money into their country. And the European Union actually needs us more than we need them, in the sense that they sell more to us than we sell to them. So I don't think the German car manufacturers are going to be going along to Angela Merkel and saying, please put tariffs on our cars we're selling. So, you know, this will settle down. But ultimately, it is about democracy, and I'm delighted that the British public have voted to say that we want to get control of our own country back just like any other democratic country, and certainly like the United States.
Yeah, and it is a very personal decision, and clearly Prime Minister Cameron says he will stick with it and he will follow the will of the people. Kate Hoey, thank you very much. She comes out a winner here as part of the Labour Leave. She's the co-chair. We appreciate you coming on in a Fox Business exclusive.